Welcome to On Air with Kate Butler, where we are revealing life's best kept secrets. Welcome back to this next episode of On Air with Kate Butler, where we are revealing life's best kept secrets. And, we bring on experts from all over the world to help us uncover and reveal these best kept secrets. And I think you are really going to enjoy today's episode. I am so excited. And it is with my pleasure to introduce to you Barbara Lanz. With an ever open mind and unique out of the box thinking, Barbara connects dots where others do not even see dots and encourages her surroundings to do the same. I do know this to be true about Barbara, and I absolutely cannot wait for her to unpack just that very simple beginning sentence for you, because it truly tells us almost everything we need to know. There's a little bit more to introduce her properly. In her late 20s, she gave up her her successful international career in cultural event and conference management after realizing that her tasks often lacked substance and meaning. She embarked on a quest for authenticity, self-improvement, and personal growth, and returned to university to study political science and her childhood pet subject, art history. Eventually, she graduated with a master's degree in fine and decorative art from Sotheby's Institute of Art in London. Additional experience in logistical services, retail, real estate, and top-notch technical sciences research round off her multifaceted fields of work, I should say so, which fostered a curious, open mind, but most importantly, trained her to quickly grasp the essence of things to get right to the core, no matter the complexity. And this is something that Barbara does so beautifully and so uniquely. Barbara strongly believes in quality and the expression of authenticity throughout all aspects of life. She inspires her private clients to add value to their personal environments and assists traditional companies and manufacturers in introducing their products to a wider audience. And to find out more about Barbara, you can increase your vibrations by working with her at www.bespokevienna.com, or you can get in touch with her at welcome@bespokevienna.com. Barbara, welcome to the stage.
Thank you so much, Kate. Thanks. I'm
Oh
so
my
happy to
goodness.
be
I
here.
just love this because you do have this ever flowing substance about you, where you do connect dots where others do not see them, along with this beautiful uh, study history you have of this education across all of these different platforms, that go from political science to technology and all the way to decorative art, right? And it is no question to me how you come about in really believing in the quality and the expression of authenticity throughout all aspects and also objects in life. And so, with all of that being said, can you tell our listener a little bit about this incredibly unique company that you have created and how this came about for you?
Well, first of all, since you mentioned all the different subjects I've dabbled in, more or less professionally, um, I'd say actually the subject does not really matter as long as you try to get to the core of things and
Mhm.
why things are the way they are. So actually it does really matter if you are into some top-notch scientific research project or into real estate. It all comes down to very basic things. And this is something I've always been interested in. History and how things came about was something that I've been interested in since my childhood days. But where I am today was quite the path. And first of all, it meant overcoming a lot of paradigms. So where I come from is a very paradigm-driven environment, and I had to self-defend myself, obviously, I defend myself throughout all the 20s. Why? I lead a different life, why I am not settled down, why I don't make a certain amount of money every month, or why I'm not yet married, why I don't have kids, why I don't have the house, why I don't have this and that. And this was quite hard and almost kind of drove me to a lonely spot and come out from there and saying actually what I believe is justified and I can do something with this and help other people. Yeah, ended up, or not ended, is actually where I'm getting started right now with this
Yeah.
company you mentioned. It's called Bespoke Vienna, where I would like to raise awareness. So that's the most important thing. It's awareness and appreciation of objects or companies or services that have been around for a very long time and have stood the test of time, actually. And yeah, connect interesting parties. So basically, connect supply and demand. So if you're interested in a certain aspect of history or even art, well, I'm an art historian, right? At heart, I'm an art historian, always will be. So
Mm,
if you're interested in that or in, I don't know, ancient companies of winemaking or champagne or glassmaking or clothing, it does not matter. I'm the person to go to, and I'll connect you with what's important for you. And if you don't yet know what's important to you, we talk about this
mm,
because it has a lot to do with self-awareness, expression of self, how we show ourselves to the world, because we're drowning in mass goods. Everyone has an iPhone, everyone has AirPods, everyone has a Stanley Cup, everyone has, I don't know, this and that, all these gadgets that don't make us unique. We think well, actually, we don't think, they actually do make our lives easier in certain ways, but we are so easily distracted also by what's going on and how fast paced everything is that we kind of maybe not lose our authenticity or identity, but also are less connected to ourselves.
mhm,
Because I believe in humanness, and humans are always the same. I don't know. Have you seen the movie Eat, Pray, Love?
yes.
And one of these opening scenes is where she talks about the friend who works in a refugee camp and says, "Oh my God, these people have gone through so many things." And then the questions she was confronted with is, "Why didn't the guy, call me back?" Or so basically, it doesn't matter how our environment looks like and the level of technology we're in. We're always the same. But I think it's easier now to get more sidetracked or distracted by what we think we should identify with, like social media and this kind of stuff, that it's even less, I don't know, maybe less of an, how can I say that's not less of an impact, but maybe a lesser level of engaging with ourselves since we're so distracted with what's going on outside that we're losing one more chance to find out what's inside of us.
Yes.
And yeah, so yeah,
And
okay.
so, and yeah, no, that was great. A beautiful, beautiful synopsis of, also why it's so important that you did create this company. So tell us a little bit about the foundation of the company and what I'm really specifically looking for here is what constitutes something that you would recognize as something to be strong in quality, like there are specifications that you look for, with certain businesses. Can you tell us a little bit more about your qualification process?
Well, basically, I got fascinated by shop signs saying established in 1795 or 1723, I didn't plan on coming to Vienna. I lived abroad for about 10 years in various European countries. And coming back to Austria was a bit weird because I knew what I was facing, this typical attitude of we don't want that, we don't need that, it has never been this way before. And I kind of shied away from that, saying, how can I make a difference here? If everything is just like set in stone. So in a way, this was a kind of obstacle, but on the other hand, there must be a certain truth to that because otherwise there wouldn't be companies around that have been existing forever, you know? Like I was in New York a couple of days ago and I was talking to the concierge of my hotel and saying, yeah, you know, I'm interested in these old shops and where can I go to really uh, embrace the, I don't know, historic shop interiors from the 19th centuries. And then she looked at me and said, why why would you want to do that? You know, there's nothing around. And then I thought, okay, so but there's still stuff around in Vienna and Europe, many places. You know, Vienna is not, of course, not the only place. But so why is that? So there must be something these companies have been doing right because all of them represent a certain branch, but they've never been the only company within their field. So obviously there were other companies around. And if you look into old telephone directories or, you know, like old address books, and I'm doing a lot of historical research, so I come across these sources or, you know, like old newspaper advertisements. So there have been companies around. Some of them still exist, but others don't. So what did they do to survive, you know, wars and a crisis in economy and whatever? And this really kind of, yeah, I got hooked, to be
Mm.
honest. This is something I thought, well, I have to dig deeper there. So where is that? You know, talking to shop owners, a lot of them are family-run businesses. So why is it that one family sticks to that? And I've come across a professor. Unfortunately, he passed away. He was a US professor. He was an expert on family companies, and
Mm.
he wrote this amazing book, which was one of my holy grails, Centuries of Success. And so there is something behind this, but
Yeah.
looking behind the scene, I realized that basically no one is doing anything. You know, they serve a certain clientele, saying, okay, we have these amazing champagne glasses. If you want to be an amazing host or appreciate a nice glass of water on your desk, then
Yeah.
come to us. But you know, there's the dots. There's a lot of dots, and I want to connect them to, yeah, to raise awareness, also to show these companies that there's so much more out there that they can connect to a different kind of clientele on a different basis.
Yeah.
And so there's a lot of work to be done.
Oh, I love that. So tell us a little bit about how you work with people to help increase their vibration, to help them become more aware, to help them connect maybe with certain elements or objects. Can you walk us through this experience truly that you bring people through?
Sure. This is something I really, really love to do, you know, like getting to know a person
Mm.
and trying to get to the essence of that person and find out what they're like, what their daily tasks look like, their routine, what kind of family life they have, what is important to them, and then figure out what could be their object of appreciation, you know, something that lights up their day and something that tells them when I use that, I feel my true unique self. I mean, there are a lot of ways to uh, raise your self-awareness. It's, you know, like your morning hour of power, or you do your yoga, or you high five yourself every time you look into the mirror, all these kind of things. And of course, they're all valid. So what I'm offering to those people is a kind of different take on things because as long as they're human and not made out of zeros and ones, they need the touchable objects and need to be touched by objects because our sense of touch is of course very, very important because you'd
Mm.
rather hug your daughter than a virtual image of your daughter, I guess. So it makes all the difference still, and this is what I would like people to do to meet something. I mean, you know, it doesn't have to be big. It doesn't have to be a custom-made car. It can be something simple as a notepad or a deck of cards or a sofa throw, you know, or your favorite pillow. And we look into that and say what speaks to you, what is important to you, what do you think expresses yourself. So it's also a kind of journey of self-aware, and I help other people to uncover something maybe they have not been aware of, but I think it's important.
And so you help them explore and connect to these different elements or these different things. And so what can that do for someone? You mentioned a couple of things along the way, but just to really crystallize this, what value can going through an experience like this with you bring to someone's life?
Well, first of all, meeting themselves or getting to know themselves on a different level, maybe something they have not been aware of. And
Wow.
then, so for example, if you take your let's take a blanket, something that is woven in a on a very old loom and has beautiful natural fibers and a beautiful texture. And every time you wrap yourself in that, or when you come home from work and then you take off your shoes and change into your home's own clothes, and then throw yourself on the couch and wrap yourself in this blanket of comfort that actually means something, it raises everything. It raises your happiness, your joy, your awareness, what it feels like to connect with things, because quantum physics teaches us that everything is connected, and you'd rather connect yourself with something that is made of quality and that has a soul, rather to a lifeless object that was mass produced God knows where, comprising of the cheapest elements possible.
Wow. Okay. So when you're talking about vibration and awareness, it's actually more than that. It's like you are really encouraging people, to really think through, kind of all in which we interact with, because it all is holding some type of energy or life or vibration, or you said soul, really. So you believe that the object can, really have a depth to it. Is that what I'm hearing from you?
Exactly.
And you can have an interaction and an experience and maybe even a relationship per se with this particular thing. I mean, is that fair to say?
Yes, that's exactly what I mean.
And then when you do have these surroundings around you, but not only because we all have them around us right now, right? Or at least most of us, I would say for the most part, all of us have these type, maybe not everything, but some of these things around us. So what you're saying is that you can bring an awareness to them. And then as you operate through life with a new awareness that I have a relationship, I have an interaction, I have an experience with these things around me, then what? Like how do we operate or feel, maybe how do we feel differently in our everyday life after we look at these objects or experiencing these things in different ways?
Well, raising your awareness certainly leads to a certain level of appreciation,
I love
which
that. Wow.
then
Yeah.
further on leads to gratitude.
Oh, yes,
When
yes, yes.
So when people say, yeah, you do your hour of gratitude or your gratitude journal, and then people say, yeah, well, what is it I'm grateful for? I have nothing, I
Oh,
mean, you
wow.
can always go back to I breathe the air and I am alive, but maybe some people are not really aware of that, and to be really
Yeah.
grateful for something, that's quite a thing, but maybe you need to start somewhere else. So you
Yep.
start with the awareness, and then you say, oh, actually, this blanket is amazing. I really appreciate that.
Mm.
And once you activate your kind of appreciation senses, you appreciate so many other things. And that helps you
Mm.
to upgrade. I don't want to say level up, or it's always the same thing that people say, and yeah, it's used in many different ways. But you increase your quality of like the daily life. It's not that you are desperately awaiting your next summer vacation, or that very once a month time with your husband. You do the little things.
Yeah.
The objects I'm talking about, they're not high-flying something. They're very simple objects. Most of them have been around forever. I mean, because we humans, that's what I said before, we humans are always humans. We will always need the same things. We will always need a vessel to drink out from, so it doesn't really matter if the AI is high-flying as it is, whatever. We need to drink out of something real. So,
This
if
is
you,
really what I love so much about. Go ahead.
no, no, please, you.
What you do because of the age that we're in. This is the most important time for you to be talking about what you're talking about, which is why I'm so excited for you to get this awareness out to people and for people to know that you exist and that this exists, that they can really truly, look around their room and say, what do I feel from that? What do I appreciate about that? What awareness does this bring me? Why am I called to that? Why am I drawn to that? Why do I have a relationship with that? What is the relationship with that? And it just gives you a deeper level, knowing yourself, like you said, even more, but then really just walking through life with just a really different lens, right? You talked about the paradigms that you grew up in and then how you had to shift those paradigms and it allowed you to see life and really the world and the objects in such a unique and different way. Why authenticity was so important to you in shifting those paradigms. And now I love that you have brought that full circle and you allow people to sit in their own paradigm and begin to shift to see things a little bit differently that can truly amplify everything in their life because you're taking something simple and you are amplifying it to create an entirely new and incredible experience for your clients. Barbara, thank you so much, seriously, for what you do. I think it is so important to be bringing this to the world right now. And I think everyone should take advantage of the real, true gift that you have been given to be able to walk people through this incredibly unique, but also extremely, extremely valuable experience. So can you remind us again your website and where people can get in touch with you for this experience?
My website is www.bespokevienna.com and my email address is welcome@bespokevienna.com. So I'm always, yeah, I can always be reached via email. You don't have to send a novel. You can say, I don't quite know how to get started, but let's do something. You don't have to be super prepared with a letter or something. I know that since this subject is new, maybe it's not quite clear yet how we do that or how we set about, but just please don't worry, just reach out. And even if you say hi, write me back or something, I will get back to you. And I'm very happy to, get you to, I don't want to say the next level, but to increase the
A new
quality of your life.
experience.
Yes.
Yeah, experiencing your everyday life in a new way.
Experiencing you in a new way also. That's
Experiencing you in a new way also. And that's what I really love about your work that is so, so, so valuable. So Barbara, thank you for being here with us on this episode. And all of Barbara's work is revealing the best kept secrets that are literally existing all around you right now, and allowing Barbara to come into your world, even for just a call and just a moment, to really shift things for you and not only experience life on a new level, but also experience yourself in a brand new way. I love her work. I highly, highly recommend Barbara and the work that she brings to the world. I want to encourage all of you to reach out to her. And I know that there will be a shift, a beautiful, beautiful shift in your world. So thank you so much for joining us on this episode of On Air with Kate Butler, where we are certainly, especially in this episode, revealing life's best kept secrets. And we will see you next time. Thank you, everyone, so much.
Thanks for having me. Bye.
You're welcome. Bye-bye, everyone. Thank you so much for listening today. I would love to connect with you on social, and you can find me on Instagram and Facebook under Kate Butler Books. If you're interested in accessing some life-changing tools and techniques, you can grab those right off of the homepage of my website for free, and that is katebutlerbooks.com. And you can always check back here to download new episodes from our podcast right here where you listen today. Until next time, thank you for making this world a better place just by being you.